I was listening to the latest episode and coming through Ohio here, and I look over as we're talking about all the road stuff, and there's a guy that has rolled over his semi on the ramp to get onto 70.
Right.
I was like, well, okay then. That's what led me to the thought of I need to get out of Ohio.
Well, save your stories for the episode. Hang on.
This is the episode. We're in the episode.
No, but this is where the DJ talks. Don't say anything. Okay?
No, we did that part already.
No, we didn't do that part yet.
We're doing that part now.
Right.
All right, do the thing. Intro me, Amadeus.
Welcome to another episode of Drake and the Maestro, almost live, or almost
or
relevant.
An episode, even.
Almost alive. Yeah. Anyway.
Almost with the will to live. Something like that.
So
to the Batmobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Maestro's off in Ohio.
I'm in Ohio. I need to get out of Ohio. It's dangerous over here. I got the guy rolled over. Ohio is so bad that a bunch of astronauts were born in Ohio, and they tried to leave the planet. What is it about Ohio that makes people want to leave the planet? Like, they didn't just want to get out of Ohio. They wanted to get off the Earth.
It's like a friend I had who had 2 divorces, and both women decided to bat for the other side.
Yeah. So what is it about you that's doing that?
Yeah, that might be a you problem.
Yeah, right. It's like Grandpa said. If you go everywhere,
You've got a problem with everyone. Everyone doesn't have the problem.
that's it. Yeah, it's very succinct. It's very nice.
You have to work on your wise sayings, my friend.
No.
Yes.
I'll leave that up to the masters.
Yeah. No. Well, you are the Dread Pirate Roberts. I mean, so you have to start, working on that.
No, you're not dead yet. I haven't gotten back
But
around to think behind the shed.
You're working on it. Yeah. Yeah, you got to work on your wise sayings, right? So if you have a problem with everyone, everyone doesn't have the problem, right?
That's right. If you have a problem with everyone doesn't have the problem.
He was great with those things. Like, if you want to marry a princess, you better be a prince.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you better start kissing frogs, something like that.
No, that's if you want to marry a prince. That's if you're going to be batting for the other side again.
Oh, right. Well, we got to make it. We got to with things these days. We got to make stuff inclusive. So if you want to marry a prince, you better start kissing frogs.
He was speaking to me specifically. So you could turn that around. You want to marry a prince, you better become a princess. So, and of course, my grandmother, which would be your great grandmother, had the best saying of all.
Don't go over there. The floor's wet.
No.
Yes.
That was an important safety.
Some of us are wise. Some of us are otherwise.
Correct. And I find myself using the family wise sayings more and more because somehow they seem even more and more appropriate. But
I think that's what's just becoming it. If there's any young adults listening now,
or
demographics
younger, say yes.
Okay, so if there's young adults out there and you're sitting there and you're going, man, my parents really had it all figured out, and I don't know what's wrong with me, and I just don't know why I can't figure this out. They didn't have it figured out. They didn't. No. They're making it up as they're going along. We're all making it up as we go along, and there's this thin veneer of adulthood that holds us all together, that everybody kind of just goes, yeah, he's got it together, even though we all know that none of us have it together.
Well, like I said, some of us are wise, some of us are otherwise. That
truly,
you've got to be able to learn from your mistakes. That's the thing, and that's what we do as adults. It's not that we do have it more together. By the way, it's that it's those of us who have learned from our mistakes and the mistakes of others. The second part is even more important than the first part.
Yes, learning from others' mistakes.
Right, so you don't take life on the chin.
In Georgia.
Say that again. You're in Ohio, so Ohio hates the podcast.
No, I have an incoming phone call.
Oh, message from me. I got a midget calling me over here.
I'll call him back. No, like a certain cousin should have learned from someone else's mistakes when he.
Yeah. Oh, see, there it is.
Yeah.
Ohio hates the podcast.
Put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Try it.
Well, last time it was in Michigan. Last time I was in Michigan, and that's when we were having trouble.
Oh.
No, it was just because I got a phone call.
It'll be a Medicare scammer soon.
Yeah.
Oh my
They'll be
gosh!
calling me.
You know, you have something to look forward to when you hit that 65-ish era, with the Medicare
I?
people. Oh my gosh! It's
Do I get to
almost
look
like
forward to it?
it's almost like I wish they would just go bankrupt and go away. Oh, you need the medical care. Medical care is expensive, but
Hello, Mr.
oh my,
Taliban.
yeah. Oh, there are just legions of these, and this plan does it, and this it's just.
It's
And
because
you'll get
when you get to a certain age, you somehow also become more susceptible to scams. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's losing mental faculties or something. But it's like when Henry Winkler was on TV selling the reverse mortgages.
that was Tom
People are like,
Selleck.
No, it was Henry Winkler was doing it too.
Oh,
Tom
was he?
Selleck also did it. Yes, those are the Fonz.
Okay, so he must have done it really briefly, and then someone took him behind the woodshed and goes, "Henry, what are you doing?"
Right. What you know what happens at the end of these, right? No. What? The bank owns your house. Oh.
Well, yeah, that's reverse mortgage. Read the title.
That's it.
Yes,
the name's in the title. The description's in the title, son.
We've had a family member go through that. Let's face it. Yeah, and the house was worth. And at the end of it, the only way they could stay in the house was because after they passed on, the only way they could stay in the house is to pay back the reverse mortgage.
You all right there? You're
sorry.
You're dropping away.
It's apparently I had a salamander in my throat there.
Somehow I'm the problem with the podcast, but you just halfway through a story go and tack over.
Old man, what can I say? Still going through puberty. Sorry. So yeah, those reverse mortgages. If you're going to get into something, yeah, please extra serving.
What kind of cheese filling you want that?
Yeah, so Henry Winkler decided to use the product, and he's like, "You wait a minute, you're going to do what to me at the end?" I don't know.
I don't know about that, sir. It seems awfully sketchy.
That's like Shatner when he was doing the Priceline thing. Remember?
Yeah, but that was funny.
It was not only was it funny, but what do you mean you're paying me in stock? He got paid in stock of the company.
Okay.
Well, no. And for a while they kind of faltered. They were kind of.
Well, yeah, and then they went with what's her name from Big Bang Theory. Now she does the Priceline stuff.
Yeah, right.
Or did I don't know. I haven't seen a Priceline ad in forever.
Yeah, they're still around.
Well, the thing is that she has something called a personality, which I
don't know. Shatner's ad with the with the Falcon.
No, Shatner is a person. There's a difference.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. He's on me.
Shatner is an empty. But Shatner is an empty vessel. He waits for the role and then becomes Shatner.
No, that's
no. He doesn't become the role. No. He becomes Well, no. Then De Niro becomes the role. Shatner just becomes Shatner. He thinks he's becoming the role, but he really just becomes William Shatner.
Wow, that's hard to disprove. That's probably trying to prove a negative or something.
It's proving a negative. It's
when he was on American Pickers because he was looking for like some antique
stuff.
Architectural things and equestrian things. It was still 100% Shatner. How would you know? You wouldn't. How would you know?
You would never. No, that's his life is the role. His life is the role of a lifetime. Shatner is the role of a lifetime for William Shatner.
Okay, you're starting to freak me out a little bit. Freaking me out, man.
Don't think about it too much. You'll hurt yourself.
No, it's too late. Too late.
It hurt itself in its confusion.
It'll remain unexplained.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So tell me about this crane. Tell me.
The crane. Yeah, we got away from the crane. Yeah, so
I know.
It's an old refinery. It's still got the tube that goes up the mountain, but it doesn't connect anything anymore because that part of the building isn't in service.
Turn that into a water slide.
Woo! Yeah, it'd be a heck of a water slide because that's real steep and ribbed for your pleasure.
Ew.
Anyway, so I back in the building, and it's a long back in. It definitely was at some point used for rail cars. The doors were for rail cars, not for trucks.
Yeah.
This is like the buried rail line. You can kind of see pieces of rail line poking out. And so I back up and I hear the crane moving around. It's a big gantry crane, big overhead crane, big one. I mean, it's probably
was it running on rails or something?
Yeah, it's like, but they're up on the ceiling, like they're up high. It's real up high, big overhead crane.
Yeah, it's got the cupola up there to control it and all that.
Yeah, it's got the little control way up there. It actually has a big sign on there because the crane is so old. I actually asked the guy, so how old is that crane? He said, oh, somewhere in the 30s. So, holy crap, that crane's older than that's several people I know.
Somewhere in Ford Galaxy.
Right. It's, getting up there, getting close to 100 years old probably. It's still working and still in service. And I hear this, and I see him go to get my first stack of stuff. And I'm looking at the crane. I'm just watching the crane. I'm fascinated by machinery, so I'm watching the crane. And I keep seeing these flashes of light. I'm like, what is that? I thought maybe it was like a blinky light or something like that at first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, what is that? Because like some places have like blinky lights on the crane so people don't get hit by them, or they're more visible how you're going to miss a giant crane. I don't know, but it happens. Hence the light. But anyway, and I realize that the flashes of light are in time with when he tells the crane to move. So it's not a blinky light. It's the big, nasty, real old relays that they used to use that would just arc across to make the connection. They just ran a crap load of voltage through it to make it work. And so it's putting so much voltage through it. It's a nice, crisp, welding blue is going through these little relays, and I'm seeing it just every time he tells the crane to move. I'm like, holy moly, the past was dangerous.
Did you wear your welding helmet?
I should have. I definitely had some after images left over after looking at that. I couldn't look away. It was like a train wreck. I couldn't look away. It was just fascinating.
Yeah, what is it about that, the welding arc and all that? And you're not supposed to look
moths.
at it, but somehow...
We're no better than the moths. We just bright lights. Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, pretty. Don't look at that light. What are you doing?
My eyes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Why? I don't know.
Yeah,
they believed in high voltage back in the day, man.
Yeah. If it can't be solved by high voltage, we're not interested.
I remember that sound system we were putting in that theater, and we're up in the projection area, and there's this huge motor thing there. Everybody was wondering what that was. I'm like, well, that's a dynamotor. So it's electric motor on one end, generator on the other. That's the way they kick the voltage up for those carbon arcs.
Yeah. It would do the dynamometer. It's a dynamometer. It spins. It generates electricity with electricity. It gets a hit, and then that spins and then amps up the hit.
Well, it stand by.
Good grief! You're old manning extra hard today.
Well, I was outside working and cutting.
There's your problem. You went outside.
I agree. It is a problem. Yeah, well, dynamotor. Yeah, so you turn on, you punch the connection in the big old square D box, right? Shunk, and then all the lights dim, and then you hear the motor spinning up, and on the other end is, I think it was a DC generator. I think those old carbon arc things were DC. Right?
Yeah, they're definitely, you're not getting that kind of arc from the relays with AC. That is a DC current.
That's for those old projectors that used a carbon arc to generate the light. That's
right.
Old.
Yeah, it wasn't a light bulb. It was arc electricity.
Yeah, it was a carbon arc. Yeah. And talk about, we're going to put 400 volts of DC. That will kill you.
It will. The person that's holding your hand, the person across the hallway.
Yeah, because high voltage AC has a tendency to knock you away.
DC makes you lock in. It's a constant voltage.
Right,
because
it isn't pulsing.
To AC. Right.
Well, it's no pulsing. Well, and DC, the electron has to make a complete journey from, cathode to anode?
We're getting nerdy.
Well, yeah. It was Tesla. Tesla came up with DC, and it was Edison that had
AC. No. Tesla was the one that came up with AC. DC, and Edison was the one with DC, and he through a smear campaign did a bunch of stuff to smear Tesla and his credibility, and including killing an elephant in front of people.
Right. Just to demonstrate how deadly AC was, apparently. But
AC was. But it wasn't truly AC. It was actually DC. He just told everyone it was AC because no one knew the difference.
The direct current DC, the electron goes from cathode to anode. It just makes a complete cycle. Well, AC, alternating current, nudges the whole chain of electrons in the conductor one way, and then nudges them back the other way. One way, the other way, other way, the other. And so because
one way or the other way.
And that does the work. It's the nudge back and forth. And so that's when it allowed for thinner wires and the ability to transmit electricity over long distances. Whereas DC, since they're making the complete circuit, it can only go a short distance before it needs to be boosted back up again. And so that's what your dynamo motor's doing.
You also get a lot of heat loss because it heats up whatever it's traveling through.
Well, because it has to make a full path, and because that has to go through all that wire and all that distance. Yes, right. It's like a big
lot of resistance.
Yeah.
Or the filament in a toaster or a light bulb or whatever.
It doesn't mean that I don't want to be there behind a bunch of safety gear, of course. When they fire up that, imagine the 18-year-old
Frankenstein switch,
the 18-year-old projectionist back in the day, whose job it was to fire up that dynamo motor and the carbon arc to get ready for the show.
Do you think they gave him a rubber glove
no? It's the 30s. Come on.
No, you're right.
What's that? No.
Go flip that switch.
Right. He's probably wearing, if he's lucky, he might be wearing rubber shoes.
Rubber shoes. Yeah, you might be wearing rubber shoes.
Maybe,
It could be when you're wooden clogs for the day. You don't know. Right.
And then, of course,
I lost another one.
So
all the lights in the theater dim.
If you remember where the projectors were, there was a huge exhaust hood.
For all the heat.
For the heat and the smoke, those things were just.
I don't know, just because I know about film from back in the day, like the nitrocellulose film that they used to shoot on. How in the heck did they run those in front of that and not melt the film?
Well, that's it. The film had to run at a certain speed across there, or it would melt and catch fire.
Oh. So that's why films had speeds. It wasn't so that the pictures looked right. It was just so it wouldn't melt.
Well, why not both? That's why, but yeah. If any jam happened and that thing slowed down, it's the film's melting. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's that thing in the movies where you see it like the film stops and then it like
bubbles and
and arcs out or melts away. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
They had to take that. There was a table, and they would come in on a reel, but the reel wouldn't really work with the projector. Like now you think they had to reel, they had to spool it out on the table, so that and re-reel it. I guess
re-reel it for because it would come in a big tin, and they'd have to re-spool it so that it was on the projector spool that would work on the projector.
Right, so it could, smoothly get through the projector and not, burn up.
Jam. Yeah, funny story. I was at, what movie was I at? One of the prequels for the Star Wars movies.
I'm sorry.
And that's, they weren't that bad. Listen, there were George Lucas made some decisions. They weren't all good. We'll just move on from there. So we were waiting to see it. That was coincidentally also the theater where I witnessed my first extremely large person breaking a piece of furniture. There was a man that came in and he sat down in a couple rows in front of us, and the entire section, because like the theater seats are in sections bolted together, broke and hit the floor.
Neat.
He definitely walrused when he sat down. He didn't ease himself down. He just kind of dropped.
Well,
and when you're that heavy,
there's your first problem right there.
That.
No, you can't.
But that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was we were waiting there, and they start the movie, right? And we get about 10 minutes into it, and all of a sudden the audio goes wonky, and then the film just disappears off the screen.
Cool.
Like the movie just disappears off the screen. Someone was messing around in the projection booth and knocked the projector over. Knocked the whole thing off the table.
How does that? Those things aren't exactly tiny.
No, well, this is the
having a
90s, so they
martial-
were smaller.
Have a martial arts exhibition going on out there? Or?
I don't know. All I know is the movie was going, the audio got messed up, and then all of a sudden the film was gone and the lights were back on. And about 2 minutes later, they came over the intercom and said the film fell off and that showing was out because they had to re-roll the entire film and it was going to take several hours.
Oh, wow.
Because they had to I guess they had to probably have to take the projector apart, take the film out, unspool it, re-spool it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's probably spooling on the floor, and then bam.
It's probably all unspooled on the floor. They got to run it through the projector to get it all out, and then and then re-spool it back on the other. So we got a free ticket to a different movie, and that is how I saw Lilo and Stitch.
Well, you were saved.
Which arguably is a better movie.
Was Steven Seagal the projectionist by any chance? Did you happen to?
Maybe, I don't know. Was he practicing his walrus foo?
Right.
What do we call that? Hidden walrus or whatever?
Winded walrus.
Winded walrus. That's it. I knew it was something walrus.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if your gantry crane was running DC.
Oh, definitely. That's what I say. There's no way you're getting arcs like that on AC. Big
I guess
arcs.
you could. Like the CTA.
You could, but that's a lot of voltage.
The CTA, you go through Chicago, you see the L up there. You can see those
But
sparks are
that's
just
DC.
like
That third rail is DC.
Is it? I thought it was AC. It's DC.
No, it's DC. That's why you're not supposed to touch it because you won't get off of it. And the voltage is so high, it'll just cook you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before. Is like DC, you'll want to lock on because it's a constant current. It'll lock your muscles. Whereas AC, you'll tend to hit and then let go. It'll still hurt you, but it won't be as bad. And it probably won't be lethal.
So in today's era, then there has to be a big dynamotor in that plant somewhere giving them that DC. Because I can't see them using rectifiers
I don't know.
to make that happen.
There was some really, really thick power lines running into there. So they could just have a large surface. So, there could be a big dynamotor on there. There could be right there on the crane. Because there's another compartment. The gantry crane's in two beams. Right? And then the actual crane part's in the middle.
Yeah.
And on one side is all the relays, and they're huge panel, giant relays. And then on the other side is a big
we're losing our female
box.
listeners at this point.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have two people that both have the same flavor of mechanical autism.
Yeah.
Where you're really into machines and machinery and cranes and and dozers and trucks and cars and anything that's got a motor and uses electricity and does heavy lifting. That's just cool. Trains,
or precision machining.
It overlaps. Or precision machining, CNC machines.
Or
I love the CNC machines. They're really cool. Water jets.
That's why I like watches so much. It's all the precision machining.
Milling machines. I saw one that was doing it was like a milling machine. It was doing it had like a 3D gimbal arm on it so they could do multiple sides of the same piece.
Right.
It's crazy.
Oh, we do want to welcome the 45 to 55 demographic who's all of a sudden decided to show up, which is great. Thank you.
Oh, better late than never.
They've
been picking on my generation.
We got the
for
old
not
man
showing up.
demographic. That was thanks to all the listeners, but we just want to welcome the new ones as they come aboard.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Obviously, after this episode, welcome to all the machinery geeks.
Yeah, right. Suddenly we'll see a big uptick in CBs.
Yeah.
The CBs are really interested in this episode.
When I was starting my logistics operation, I had just one truck and I was contracted in the city to two different messenger companies. And the radio I had was an old Motorola. Still had tubes in that rascal.
That's the one you would key up and all the lights would dim.
Well, no, you would key up and the dynamotor would spool up. And so you couldn't. You had to wait till you heard a constant motor tone before you talked because, it was transmitting power. It's building power. It was only about a second or two. But if you talk right away, you get cut off because you're not transmitting yet. You got to wait for the motor.
Yeah, because you're not transmitting yet.
The cool thing was I could step on everything on that frequency. Once that rascal was spinning, look out.
FCC who?
It was legal
at the time.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah,
yeah.
It was great.
I know of some gentlemen that are over-the-road truck drivers that have radios that are pushing so many watts they can actually come over car speakers. Like if your car is close enough to their truck, that you'll hear the radio transmission on your speakers in your car.
With the radio station I worked for,
Which negates the need for a PA system, because you just key up and yell at them directly.
Yeah. Let's just hope it's not the FBI van,
Right.
Because the feds don't like that. If they catch you doing that,
the FCC will get real mad at you about that.
Yeah, be a real bad day for you. Yeah, we had that at the radio station I worked at. We came over. Some ladies bought a toaster.
It's like a toaster.
She lived right next to the transmitter.
I was gonna say, but you live next to the transmitter. That's gonna happen. It's a hazard. It's like living by a racetrack. There's gonna be racetrack noises. It's just the way it is.
But what if the programming isn't to your liking? I think that was the problem.
Unplug your toaster?
This rock and roll.
This boogie woogie. Oh no.
Yeah. No woogie
You're
boogie.
gonna do what to my Zeppelin?
Exactly.
Oh, she might be old enough to remember Zeppelins.
The levee's gonna break. Yeah, might have ridden on the Zeppelin.
Right. Yeah.
You should get all. Oh no, the levee's gonna break. There is no levee here, Grandma. I just heard it on the toaster. Yeah, Grandma, that's Led Zeppelin. You're gonna do what to my Zeppelin?
Right.
Oh
man.
I think we had at our fundraiser. We raised money and buy a different toaster.
Now you don't watch a lot of short form content like I do.
I am short form content.
You're just short.
Or is it long form content?
You're long form content. I saw a short. They were recording.
It's hard to get the content right, really.
Someone was recording their grandmother's birthday party, or it was some kind of celebration with their grandmother or great grandmother. I don't know the exact. It was older lady, right? Older family member, and they're like, what? And they're all like, "Yay, congratulations!" Like, what do you say, Grandma? And she gave the traditional German 1940s salute. That's as far as I'm gonna go. You gotta look. If you don't know, look it up. Let's just say from 1932 to 1945, there was a particular phrase that was really popular in Germany.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh boy.
And they'll go, "No, Grandma, no."
Well, you get to a certain age, you just don't care anymore.
It's also just muscle memory. You just go back to what you remember, and that's what you remember. So, it'll be fine.
You got to make sure you're okay with the party. If then not just
right.
The
Yeah,
party,
you just keep it
party.
up with the party.
All right. Like your like my grandma, your great grandma. She another one of her sayings, right? Because
hopefully not that
hearing her hearing assistance device had gone wonky, and so someone was asking her, "Would you like us?"
Way to say
I'm trying to use
heard.
I was trying to use the nomenclature.
Are you trying to fill a word count in an essay for high school? Like what?
You caught me. No, I was just trying to be different.
It was different, all right.
So they asked, "Would you like us to get that fixed for you?" Okay, you want to continue in my previous vein then. Would you like us to get that mended for you?
There you go.
And she says, "No, I think at my age I've heard all I want to hear."
Yeah.
She was 107.
I was going to say, to be fair, I think she was over 100 at that point, because I was alive.
Yeah.
Because I remember the family talking about that. Well, I think at my age I've heard all I want to hear.
What a great.
It's a good response. It's also very true. If you get to 107, you basically get a free pass on whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And no one can tell me otherwise.
Or not here.
If you're old enough to remember every major war that's happened for the last forever, you get to say whatever you want. Century. Yeah. I mean, pretty much she was alive for every major war for an entire century, for an entire generation, several generations.
Yeah.
You get a free pass. You just, whatever. Oh, that's just great grandma. That's just what it is.
Well, somehow she brought it home and made it relevant. That's what, got to give her high marks for that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think at my age, I've heard all I want to.
It's great. Isn't that when she hurt her hip on the elevator? She hurt her hip getting off the elevator because she was helping the elderly woman, people out.
Yeah, this was before she was that old. She was younger,
Oh, she was like
Slightly
99
younger.
or something like that.
Right, and she's helping someone in their 70s get out of the elevator. It's
Right.
like, oh, I was
Right.
just helping the elderly. You are the elderly.
Yeah. Just proves you're only as old as you are in your mind. So there you go.
Yeah, and
Which
she
makes
had
me
hers,
150.
Yeah, I was gonna say it makes me about 75.
Oh,
Good grief! This really went off the rails quickly. We went away from everything.
yeah.
I don't even remember.
Really?
You had
That's
other
what,
stuff.
What we do.
You had stuff. You had stuff.
Was I did? I did.
You said you had
but I
stuff.
don't remember. I don't remember what it is.
You didn't take notes?
No, it just came to me while we were talking. You were talking about the crane with the big blue welding spark, and I'm imagining looking up there, looking at the light, having my retinas burned out, and the sparks flying
Right, exactly.
down. You know,
I didn't need to see anything.
right. I worked at a plant for a while, and the maintenance department had a mill and lathes and all that to keep the assembly line running. They would make parts and stuff right there. Yeah.
Making the parts.
Yeah.
Industry.
Science and technology.
Big men putting screwdrivers into things, turning them, and adjusting them.
Insert
I just did the
drop
whole
in
bit.
here.
It's right. Use, drop in, now, return to comedy.
Please.
Please insert. Please, I am Bender. Please insert girder.
Insert comedy now. We're dying here. Oh.
We're gonna finish this off with a food thing because
All right. Well, we haven't done food in a while. Bring on the food.
And it's a Wendy's. And it's
All
a
right.
Wendy's. So I was at a Wendy. I'm in Carlisle. I stayed in Carlisle.
Does
PA
it have
last
Does
night.
it involve a police response to the Wendy's? Because that would be perfect.
No, it does not. Unfortunately, I was in Carlisle, PA last night, and I stayed at the Petro, which there's a Love's and a Petro, and they're right next to each other. They're so close to each other, in fact, that if you can't park at the Love's, but you still want to shop at the Love's, you can park at the back of the Petro parking lot and walk to the Love's because it's a
convenient.
ditch. You go down a ditch, up into their parking lot, across the front of the fuel islands, and you're in the Love's. It's like 300 feet. It's like a football field away from the parking spot in the Petro. It's not far, which is what I did because that Love's is a nightmare. And so I go to the Wendy's and I order my food at the kiosk because I'm a millennial and I don't like to talk to people, as we've discussed before. I just want to put my order in and I want to beep boop it and I want to be done. So anyway, so I'm standing there and I'm asking for my drink so I can fill my drink up. So I'm waiting for my food. I got something to drink because I like to eat food while I wait for my food.
All right, yeah, it's just like when I used to get in the cafeteria line in high school, and it took so long to get through the cafeteria line. Right, I used to always bag lunch from home. Yeah, just so you can have something to eat while you're in line.
You get through the bag, right? You got to have food while you wait for your food. So
yeah, that's good walrusing.
I'm standing there waiting for them to give me my. Yeah, right, exactly. I'm standing there waiting for them to give me my drink cup so I can go fill it up. And I look over, and there's this big white and red rectangle on the counter. And I look at the guy that's standing there, and I go, "Is that a scale?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, it's for DoorDash. We weigh it, and it knows what all the different food items are supposed to weigh or thereabouts, and then we seal the bags, and so that if anything goes missing, it's on the driver. So if the customer calls and says, 'We didn't get X,' we didn't get our nuggets." Or whatever, or we only got 3 nuggets instead of 4 nuggets, or our fries were only half filled, or whatever. Pick your poison. Yeah. The Wendy's can say, "Well, we gave you everything because we weighed it before it left, and it weighed out what it's supposed to."
Oh, I was going to ask. I mean, how do they weigh it after the customer gets it to verify?
No, you don't. They're just the customer just says, "Hey, I didn't get this," and they say, "No, you did. It was sent, so the driver took it because it weighed X." And we know that
you never see
the
Uber Eats eating. Yeah, you never see that happening. Let's see that happening.
No,
all the time.
I've definitely not had a Taco Bell order stolen from me by an Uber Eats driver because he didn't want to pay the tolls to get on the tollway.
Yeah, that never happens. Yeah,
never got my money back for that either. But yeah, that was frustrating as all get out. I'm on the tollway, and okay, so if listeners, if you don't know. 294 has oases, or it used to have oases. There's big bridges that would go over the highway, and they had restaurants in them.
Yeah, it was like a McDonald's or a canteen or an automat or something in the middle.
Right, Panda. It's like the most recent ones are like Panda Express, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Subway. Just kind of like a smattering of Popeyes, occasionally Sbarro. Your kind of typical mall food court fare, right? Just kind of
way
a
back. I think when I
smattering
was
of
a
food.
kid, I think those were Howard Johnson's in there.
Yeah, I mean those things were old. They were put up in the 60s or 70s.
And I think originally it had a state cafeteria in there. It was just a
Yeah, they
cafeteria
were
run
wild.
by
They've
the
been
state.
renovated a few times.
Yeah,
and so
and then they privatized them and whatever.
I was parking at an Oasis, and they had torn it down. They had torn down the entire part that goes over the freeway.
Oh, that's
that
so
had all the
sad.
restaurants
Those
in
are-
it. They're taking
Those
them
are
all
so
out.
unique. Those are
They
so
are
unique.
They're unique. They're very unique to Illinois. That bridge style Oasis.
Yeah.
That kind of spans the whole highway, and you can sit there and eat
and
your
it
food and watch the
promoted-
cars go by.
It did, and it promoted unity because you could meet up with people going north and people going south, and you could get together and hold hands and watch traffic and sing Kumbaya.
And throw each other off the bridge. Anyway.
No, it was,
So I didn't realize that they were
to.
pulling. I knew there was an Oasis there, and I knew what the Oases were. So I was like, "Oh, cool! I'll park at this Oasis. I'll get some food. Whatever." And I get there, and they had just started tearing it apart. They'd already torn the bridge out, and it was all gone. And they were working on tearing out the abutments and all that. And I was like, "Oh man!" So I ordered DoorDash to supplement that. It's like, okay, well, I'm near a bunch of other stuff. I'm right by O'Hare Airport, so there's all kinds of food.
You can't get there from here.
Well, right. So I do the DoorDash, and I order the Taco Bell, and the driver calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, I don't have the money for tolls." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have the money for tolls?" He's like, "Yeah, I can't, I'm not going to get on the tollway to give you your food because you're up in the Oasis. I didn't know you were up in the Oasis when I took the order." I was like, "Okay, well, meet me over here on the little service road that runs up to the Oasis for the employees so they don't have to pay the tolls. I'll just walk over there." And he goes, "Okay." And I never heard from him again. He just never showed up with my food.
Yeah.
So I call the local Pizza Hut.
Uh-huh.
SOL. I call the local Pizza Hut. Like, "Hey, you guys deliver?" He goes, "Yeah." It's like, "Will you guys deliver to the old Oasis?" He goes, "Absolutely." I go, "Cool, here's my order." So I ordered Pizza Hut, and 20 minutes later, it shows up.
And here's a nice tip.
And I told him, I gave him a nice big tip, and I asked him, I was like, "You're a local, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I live around here." I go, "Do you ever not have money for tolls?" He goes, No, everybody around here has money for tolls.
You got to have money
You
for
have
tolls.
to. You live off the tollway.
Right, yeah.
That doesn't. If you're getting on the interstate in that area, you're getting on the tollway. There's just no two ways about it.
It's just like if people live in New York and all that, they're going to get on
the highway there. You got to have tolls because especially if you hit one exit wrong, suddenly you're going over 3 boroughs.
Oh,
the Tri-Borough Bridge.
Your headset's gone.
It is gone.
Vindication. I have not the only person that has tech issues today. Woo.
It's
telling us that the episode is over.
I guess.
Well, this will be the rare Maestro ending. Folks, thanks for listening to the Drake and the Maestro podcast. It's definitely been something. Don't forget to like and subscribe. No, that's YouTube. Just rate us, give us a listen, recommend us to friends, wherever fine entertainment is sold, or in this case, given away for free. Actually, we're practically begging you to give it away. Please send it to other people. And thank you to all the people that do listen. Adios.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros, and when you get out of here.
As the Drake calls in from another dimension.
Correct. I'm trapped in another dimension. Will I escape? Will I get back? We don't know.
Find out now. Next episode of Dragon Ball Z. No, wait, that's a different show that did that a lot.
It was weird. No, my headset's disconnected, and before it disconnected, it started playing this really weird tune that never heard it play before. Da 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 da. The Ride of the Valkyries is playing.
It was playing you Ride of the Valkyries because someone's calling you.
Oh, really?
That's what it plays when someone calls you.
Well, I've never heard it do that before. Well, so now it's
if you don't have the headset on and you don't have a special ringtone set, sometimes it'll just play that one will play Ride of the Valkyries.
Crazy.
How about now?
Yeah, see, now you're back.
All right. So what's the point of having it tell you you've got a phone call coming if it kicks you off, the headset doesn't work, and you can't answer the phone call? You've missed the phone call. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, screw you too.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I guess I got to go out and save the planet. So we'll talk later.
Strange, he left by the balcony.